I did not mean to open that door. That is the truth I cling to even now, as fleets burn in the void and empires whisper my name like a curse. On the day it happened, I was nobody important, just a human cultural liaison assigned to the outer levels of the Aurelian Spire, the capital palace of the Valari Empire. My name is Nathan Cole, and at the time, my greatest daily concern was not offending an alien noble by bowing at the wrong angle or breathing too loudly in a sacred hall. The Valari were ancient, elegant, and terrifyingly polite. Their empire had ruled half the Orion Arm for longer than humanity had known fire. When they absorbed Earth into their protective alliance, they promised peace, technology, and survival. In return, we offered obedience. I was there to help humans learn how to obey properly. The Spire itself was a vertical city carved from living crystal, its walls humming softly like a distant choir. Corridors shifted subtly when no one watched, reconfiguring themselves according to protocols older than our species. I had a translation slate, a clearance badge that opened maybe one door in 10, and a strict itinerary that I followed like scripture. That day, the schedule changed. A minor dignitary from Earth had arrived early, flustered and demanding guidance to the Eastern audience chambers. I was sent ahead to prepare the route, which meant navigating a section of the Spire I had never entered before, an inner ring reserved for royal functions. The corridors there were warmer. The light dimmer. The air carried a faint scent, something floral and metallic at the same time. I checked my slate. It lagged, flickering as if confused by the architecture. I took a wrong turn. Then another. That was when I saw the door. It was taller than the others, framed by flowing sigils that glowed a deep violet. No guards. No warning glyphs. Just a gentle vibration beneath my palm when I reached for the panel. I assumed it was a service passage. I was wrong. The door opened silently, and heat washed over me like a living thing. Steam curled through the chamber beyond, illuminated by bioluminescent veins running through marble-like walls. Water flowed everywhere, terraced pools, suspended streams, slow waterfalls that defied gravity. The sound was not splashing but singing, as if the liquid itself resonated. I froze at the threshold, heart pounding. Then I heard voices. Soft. Musical. Female. I stepped inside before my fear could catch up with my curiosity. The alien royal bath was not a place of indulgence, as humans might imagine. It was ceremonial, sacred, a place where Valari royals shed not just garments, but masks. Their elongated forms moved gracefully through the water, pale skin shimmering with natural patterns that pulsed faintly with emotion. I knew instantly I should leave. Then one of them spoke words that stopped me cold. The human delegation suspects nothing, a voice said, calm and amused. Their world will comply until the end. Another replied, her tone sharper. They always do. That is the purpose of the accord. I backed toward the door, but my heel brushed the stone. The sound echoed, small, but fatal. Silence fell. The water stilled. Dozens of violet eyes turned toward me. I expected death. Instead, something far worse happened. Recognition. One of them rose from the central pool, taller than the rest, adorned with subtle markings of rank along her neck and temples. She did not cover herself. Modesty, I would later learn, was not a Valari concern. You may step forward, human, she said gently. You have already heard enough to forfeit ignorance. My legs moved on their own. She was the crown regent, second only to the empress herself. I knew her from broadcasts, always distant, always composed. Here, She seemed tired. You entered by mistake, she continued. But accidents are often the universe revealing its hand. My mouth was dry. I'll forget what I heard. A ripple of amusement passed through the bathers. You cannot, she said. Because what you heard is only the beginning. She gestured, and the water between us parted, revealing a crystalline platform. Symbols flared beneath my feet as I stepped onto it. The Volari Empire, she said, was built on a lie told so long ago that even we forget it is a lie. She looked directly at me. We are not the guardians of peace. We are its architects through extinction. Images flooded the air, worlds signing treaties, then slowly declining. Populations shrinking. Cultures dissolving. Species rendered dependent, then obsolete. You uplift, I whispered. We harvest potential, she corrected. Every species carries a singular evolutionary anomaly. Yours is adaptability. You survive where logic predicts you should not. Her gaze sharpened. That makes you dangerous. The Accord, I learned, was not an alliance. It was a countdown. Once humanity reached a technological plateau sufficient to defend but insufficient to escape, the Volari would intervene, sterilizing Earth under the guise of ecological stabilization. A mercy, they called it. I shook my head. Why tell me? The region's expression changed. Not to cruelty, but to conflict. Because the Empress believes secrecy ensures control, she said. I believe truth creates choice. She dismissed the others. The bath emptied, leaving only us and the sound of flowing water. I have watched your species, she said quietly. You fracture, you argue, you war. Yet when extinction looms, you stand together in ways no model predicts. Her voice dropped. And there are others in the Empire who fear that. I realized then that this was not a threat. It was an invitation. Over the following cycles, I was summoned again and again, never openly, always through misdirected corridors and silent doors. I learned of factions within the Volari court, of ancient laws that forbade the annihilation of a species that had been warned. The secret you heard, she said during our final meeting, has now been heard by a human. That changes everything. What happens to me? I asked. She regarded me for a long time. You will return to Earth. You will tell them a story they will not believe. At first. She placed a crystalline shard in my hand, warm and alive. When the stars begin to dim, they will listen. I was escorted out of the Spire under the guise of reassignment. No charges. No punishment. Only a single glance from the Regent as my transport departed, a look that carried hope and regret in equal measure. Earth dismissed my report as stress-induced hallucination. Until satellites began to fail. Until alien fleets repositioned. Until the shard activated, projecting proof no one could deny. I am no longer a liaison. I am a warning. The alien royal bath was never meant for humans. But secrets, once overheard, do not return to silence. And now the Volari Empire must face a truth they never planned for. Humanity knows. And we adapt. If this secret shocked you, don't forget to like, because every like tells the algorithm this story deserves to be heard. Subscribe for more long-form alien and HFY sci-fi stories, and comment below, would humanity survive if the Empire turned against us?